2 weeks ago, news came out that there was a stalemate between the Galveston Wharves Board and the Battleship Texas Foundation as they were trying to negotiate a new permanent home for the famed vessel once the renovations are complete. Well, that wasn't exactly the entire truth. We attended the Wharves Board meeting this morning. We spoke to some of the stakeholders, and this is what they had to say. There were two items on the agenda at this morning's Galveston Wharves Board meeting. One was to address the continuation of negotiations with the Battleship Texas Foundation on a permanent location agreement that would be under the control of the Wharves Board. The second was to create a committee of trustees who would oversee the process and conduct necessary meetings to find a solution.
The one action item was to reconfirm the message that the port is going to continue negotiations with the Battleship Texas Foundation, because there were some headlines. One was Port of Galveston sinks battleship. Another one, my personal favorite, is Port of Galveston torpedoes battleship deal. So that was not what was voted on. So we just made it clear. We had a unanimous vote. Trustee Sheila Lidstone was absent from the meeting, but unanimous vote of the 6 trustees to continue the negotiations with all over port property. So we don't have any specific site in particular. And then the other thing, I appointed an ad hoc committee of 3 trustees, chaired by Vice Chairman of the board, Jeff Patterson, Trustee Richard Moore, and Trustee Mayor Craig Brown, to assist our team here at the port and our attorney in the negotiation process, just as a better way of communicating, because I believe they're going to need to meet. I want to move this forward one way or the other. They might have to meet on a weekly basis, which is hard to get the entire board here that frequently.
Concerned citizens and stakeholders alike all spoke during the public comment section of the meeting, and they all felt that things were pretty much back to square one.
The problem with the location of the battleship is that the Battleship Foundation has been negotiating with Landry's to promote the ship. Landry's wants the ship not to be in front of Landry's hotels or restaurants because Tillman Fertitta wants to reserve that spot for his yacht. Instead, he wants to put the battleship in front of a competitor's restaurant, Katie's Seafood. And that's wrong. It's not fair. And for that reason, Katie's objected to that location. I was relieved when I thought that the Wharves Board had decided to move on from that location, and I'm disappointed to hear this morning that that location is still under consideration. If the battleship is going to go on Pier 19, 20, or 21, it needs to be in front of Landry's, not Katie's, because Landry's is promoting the ship and is going to get a percentage of the revenues. The one who profits from it should bear the burden of it as well.
Katie's Seafood House has absorbed plenty of criticism in its opposition to the proposed future home of the battleship near Pier 21. Owner Buddy Gwendon was on hand to speak to the board, and he expressed his support of the ship to Houston City Beach.
First thing I want the public to know is I and Katie's Seafood are not against the Battleship Texas being in Galveston. We're against the dangerous place they want to put it, out in the Galveston Channel. It's going to cost the city of Galveston and the Port of Galveston an immense amount of money if there's no financial responsibility behind that ship. Right now, the foundation doesn't have the might to even pay their bills. So we need somebody, if Tillman wants it in front of his place, he needs to claim financial responsibility for that thing. Otherwise, it needs to go down to Pier 15, and we need to lock that in, make a dry dock out of it so we can maintain that ship forever right there on that dock at a lot less expense. And I vow, if they'll move that ship to Pelican Island or to Pier 15, I'll fundraise, I'll do whatever kind of work I need to do to get that job done. But I'm tired of people saying that we're unpatriotic. Both me and my son are prior service Marines. My father was in the Army. We're very patriotic people. 1st Marine Division was commissioned aboard the Battleship Texas. I was a Marine. I have a lot of respect for that ship. It needs to have a place of respect to live in, not out in the channel where its last passing days may be when a hurricane shoves it through the Pelican Island Bridge, and that's what it'll be remembered for. And we don't need that.
We also spoke to Derek Gutierrez, the Director of Operations for Katie's Seafood. We're going to share an extended amount of his comments on this story because they feature points that have not been brought up extensively in the media, and Houston City Beat wants you to hear it in his words.
I'm a little disappointed in the meeting because I thought that we took care of it at the last meeting. The port knows that this isn't a safe place to put it in the channel. The mooring system is rated for a Category 4 storm. If it's a Category 5, that thing's not rated. Rust and corrosion sitting in the channel is going to be a factor. I don't understand why we're the only ones getting hate. Landry's has the same position that we have. They have the same position that we have. They don't want it in front of their place, but they want to sell tickets for it, and they want to make money off of it. And the Battleship Texas is not an amusement park. It's not something for billionaires to just play with. It's a historical site. It's a historical monument to greatness, and it shouldn't be a billionaire's plaything. If Landry's wants it really bad, they should put it in front of their place. But I don't think it should be there anyways. It should be out of the channel where it's safe. In my heart, I believe it should go to Seawolf Park. But if it made more financial sense to put it at Pier 15, I would like to see that, because financial sense and safety. At Pier 15, it would be out of the channel, and it would still receive the foot traffic that it needed to accommodate all its maintenance, they said, and that they would also build a freshwater tank around it that would stop the corrosion. It seems like it's pretty clear that it should be there. The only thing holding this up is rich people. The business is getting 1-star reviews about the Battleship. We have a high rating. We have a lot of reviews. We have a lot of good customers. We have a lot of good staff. Seeing these 1-star reviews is disheartening. We also, I've been getting emails and stuff like that about people are never coming back, and they're pretty rough. Some of them are pretty rough about my family and such. But I still believe what I said. I don't believe it's safe in the channel, and I just don't believe it's safe in the channel.
And there was a clear opinion regarding the committee that was appointed by Chairman Vic Pearson this morning on negotiating the future home of the Battleship Texas.
I noticed that the chair appointed 3 members of the board who have been boosters of that location in front of Katie's, so that concerns me.
And then there's the general perception that's out there in the public regarding the Battleship.
It don't make no sense for everybody to be, the city fights the wharf board, the wharf board's fighting, let's see, what else were we fighting? We're fighting city marshals. It's back and forth. We all need to be on the same page. No one's going to win. We're all going to lose money that way.
Meanwhile, the goal of the Galveston Wharves Board is clear.
I want to get this done as soon as possible.
So depending on who you talk to, it's either the status quo or progress is being made on trying to find a permanent home for the Battleship Texas. One thing is for certain, the Battleship will eventually be available to the public for everybody to enjoy once again. At the Port of Galveston for Houston City Beat, I'm Mike Acosta with news that matters to you.